I am here. I'm Dave from Amplify, and I'm here with the great Emily Barker, who we all know. And if you don't, we're about to. Emily, have you always wanted to be an artist? And
Oh,
when did you get the songwriting bug?
I got the songwriting bug when I was about 18, but I'd started singing in a band before that. And it's quite a funny story because I grew up in this really like pretty remote country town, and there weren't many musicians, but there were
What was
enough
the
of us.
name? What was the name of the country town?
Bridgetown,
Bridgetown. Okay. Yep.
yeah, in the southwest,
Yep.
and we had enough musicians to put a band together, and but they asked me to sing for them, and they wanted to do covers of Metallica and Black Sabbath and
Of
Pearl
course.
Jam, and yeah, and I wanted to do Aretha Franklin songs. So we performed at school assembly, and I'd do "For Whom the Bell Tolls," followed by "Respect" by Aretha Franklin. And so that was pretty funny start, but I loved it. I really enjoyed singing, and then at one point I just felt like, oh, I don't understand this other language that they're talking, so I'll learn. I learned some piano, but I learned classical piano, which wasn't the most helpful for a band setting, and then when I was at senior high school, I met three other girls, and we formed this a cappella group, four of us. And at one point, we started playing all these 3 hour cover shows in country pubs.
Wow.
And
Three
one of
hours.
us needed, yeah, yeah, sometimes four.
Bruce Springsteen eats your heart out.
Yeah, exactly. And then one of us needed to learn an instrument, so I sort of put my hand up to learn guitar. And it was weird because with piano, I didn't feel the creative bug at all. I think because I was just reading dots on a page. But
Interesting.
then, but then when I picked up guitar, I instantly just wanted to start writing. So yeah, so I was about 17.
So that must have happened when you got to England, just about before you went there, or whatever. Didn't you go across to England when you were 17?
Yeah, when I was 19. Yeah,
19.
a
So,
little later.
so it happened beforehand. And did you go across to England for music, or was that a
No,
move?
I was just a backpacker. I dropped out of uni. I'd enrolled to do architecture and got a place at University of Western Australia, and that was all good. But I just didn't know what I was doing. I didn't really want to do architecture. I love architecture. Like I'm probably more interested in it now than I was then. But you're so young when you make these decisions, and I just didn't feel like. Also, moving from the country to the city, even though Perth at that time was a pretty sleepy big country town, it still felt like a huge move. And I just couldn't settle in uni. I was quite like, I couldn't get my head around the day to day of it. Like,
Yeah.
even things like how to find my way around the university and what a tutorial was compared to a lecture, like everything that I just did not, it managed to just all overwhelm me. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to go traveling.
So how long have you been over there for? Have you been back and forth over the years?
Yeah, so I lived there for 21 years in the
Really?
end.
So you went over
When
to
I
backpack and you stayed?
and I stayed, yeah,
Wow.
so for a really long time. And then in November 2022, I moved back to Western Australia.
After
So
COVID.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So, but I am here as I speak to you in the UK.
Are you,
Yeah.
are you coming back here for good, or are you going to, not sure what you're doing in the future?
I can't imagine leaving now that I'm back. I'm just loving it. I'm loving being back. Even, I still have to travel quite a bit, and it's a
Yeah.
much bigger commute. But I just, yeah, I love being home.
I think the weather would probably, like you're talking about the rain, you probably get used to a bit better weather over there in Perth, wouldn't
Oh yeah, yeah. It is. It does make a big difference.
it? It does, and the beaches over there are pretty cool too. And it's
They're
away
great.
from, and it's really away from Australia. It's like its own country over there. When they were going through COVID over there, they just said, "Forget Australia, we're doing our thing. You can get lost." So,
Yeah,
pretty cool place.
yeah.
Um, your music is very poetic and vivid. What is the process for your lyric writing?
Um. Well. I tend to write quite cyclically. So, like at the moment, I'm not really writing because I'm just releasing the album and doing loads of gigs, and that's sort of my frame of mind. But then I can feel that I'm itching to start writing again. But during the time when I'm not technically finishing anything, I collect things. So I'm always reading. I have like my suitcase has got about 7 poetry books in it because I collect them as I go around, and it's really impractical. But I just love going to bookshops and finding poetry books, and so I'm hugely influenced by poetry, and that is something that I do as well as songwriting.
So the music comes from the poetry, or you actually grab the poetry to find the music? Like you
I
actually
think
like reading the poetry, or you actually read the poetry to find the music?
I don't even like necessarily read it to find lyrics for songs, but it's more just I'm educated by it and inspired by it as well, and like can dip into all these different poet styles and see how they balance things, and then that influences my poetry writing, but also my songwriting. And I think Fragile as Humans, the album, the new one, is very much influenced by me having read and studied quite a lot of poetry recently.
And this is did that come from the England thing, like the Shakespearean sort of process? Because it's not like we over here would be as influenced by that sort of, you know.
Yeah, well, there's a really good poetry scene, but yeah, albeit much smaller in Australia, and I'm just understanding it. But yeah, there's this great school here in the UK called Poetry School, and they're physically based in London, but essentially all their courses are online, and they've got. So I've for maybe 5 years, I've always been doing. They do them by term or by season. So, and you can do like a 10-week course with a tutor that has a certain theme. And yeah, so I've been always doing them. So I'm like handing in all these like assignments sort of thing.
Terrific. Your new album, Fragile as Humans, which is your first in 4 years, has just been released. Can you describe its origin and evolution?
Yeah, so I wrote most of the songs in 2021, and in the UK, we were still like I couldn't go and gig particularly, or it was all still, we weren't locked down for a lot of that year, but we were very limited still. And so a lot of the songs had come from that sort of more introspective place because life for me was very small and very slow.
Yep.
And, there's a lot of difficulty in that for me, as well as there was also a lot of beauty that I recognized too. And so that's sort of where it came from. A lot of the songs, yeah, very introspective and they're very personal. But I think that they speak to our sort of collective experiences, regardless of the pandemic. I don't think they're necessarily. I'll just wait for the train to go by. Yeah, I don't think they're necessarily like bound limited to that in any way. And I think things like, well, one of the songs is called Loneliness, and I read this book by Narina Hertz called The Lonely Century, and it talks about how loneliness is endemic in our society now. And so, and I feel like even though the songs are come from personal experience, I think that they potentially connect with quite a few people, and in that way I actually feel like they're political in some ways, in that because things like loneliness and disconnection cause fear and cause us to further isolate ourselves from people and to be really skeptical and critical of others, and that breaks communities apart and also pushes people to like quite extreme views sometimes, and right wing and conspiracy theories and all sorts of things like this. So it's
What are you,
weird,
are you
but
saying that Donald Trump has come from all of this fear that's been generated over 50 years, 100 years? Yeah,
yeah,
I suppose you're right. That's a deeper conversation which I'd love to have with you because I'm
yeah,
actually, I like the conscious side more than anything else, and
yeah,
getting deep about those sorts of things and the way that they're so illusory, but they grab us so much. But look,
yeah,
we better stay on the music, or you won't
yeah,
make
yeah.
it in the interview. So the 4 years, was that more COVID related, or was that a standard sort of break for you in bringing out albums?
I think it's sort of normal in some ways. Only because so I had recorded it all. We could have released it much earlier, but I was moving to Australia, and we also just wanted to find the right like label services partner and just get all our ducks lined up. And so it just took a little while, and because I'd put so much into it, into the songwriting and into the recording, making it with Luke Potashnik, we really like were just so thorough with everything that we did, and I wanted to be the same with the release schedule. So we released loads of singles, which is not which I hadn't done before, but I think we released 6 singles in total before the album came out.
And then so also you want to be able to gig it because if you bring it out and it loses some of its pizzazz before you can get out there and get the fans engaged, physically, that's
Yeah,
probably not a great thing either. But COVID's COVID.
uh,
Um,
yeah.
how did you arrive at the title? Is that just much as what you were talking about before about the fragility of
Yeah.
thought and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, partly, yeah. Yeah, so the title comes from one of the songs, and I just felt like that title sums up all the themes on the record really, which is about our vulnerable sides. And yeah.
What are your favourite tracks, and which do you think will be your favourite to play live if you haven't played too much live? You haven't played them live, I presume, much yet.
Oh, I have over here. I've just been doing record store performances, so I've done about 11 of them in a row. I'm doing one or two a day at the
So,
moment for a
which
couple
are
of
your
weeks.
favourite tracks? Give the fans a bit of a
Um,
guide.
which
Which do
ones
you
do I
like to
love?
play live?
I love doing the title track live because it's such a quiet moment. That's great. And then I did With Small We Start, the opening track with the band the other day, and that was really fun too.
Okay. Did you record all the tracks in the Wool Hall?
Yes, they were all recorded there.
Yeah, cool. So, it's a 16th century building, church, or what is it?
Well, it's an old wool hall. It's like a farm, so
Oh,
it's where they used to sort the wool, and it's converted into a studio now. And the
older than
family,
Australia.
yeah, well, yeah, colonial history, yeah,
It must have been cool. Yeah, colonial history. It
yeah,
must have been pretty cool. The acoustics must have been pretty reasonable.
yeah. It was
I suppose it's
great.
relative to what they've done with it. How
Yeah.
did how did how did you find Luke? But before that, how did his 1938 Gibson sound in that environment?
Oh, it was beautiful. Yeah, it was amazing to play. And I used that on the song Fragile as Humans. And that was the first song we recorded on the first day. And I played it through live 8 times and we ended up using the first take. So the first take is what you hear on the record.
Didn't feel like
And
smashing it when you finished the album.
yeah, I'm done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so Luke would have looked and gone, ah.
Ah, yeah. No, it was I met Luke through a an engineer called Dom Monks, who's an amazing producer and engineer who works with Big Thief and Courtney Marie Andrews and all sorts. And he introduced me to Luke, and I met Luke. I went to his studio, and I just immediately felt so comfortable and loved the space and loved his ideas for the songs as well. So I just felt like, yeah, This is
Anyone that has a 1938 Gibson can't be too bad.
no, exactly.
Too. Uh, some of these questions have been written by someone else. In your song
Mm,
"Life is an hour," "Life is for an hour," there's a lyric
mm.
that reads, "If life is for an hour, I was seconds with you, time enough to flower for you to imbue." What do those lyrics mean to you?
So those lyrics to me mean it's talking about friendships or love, people that we love, and how they might be in our lives, like sort of briefly, but may have a really lasting impact on us and shape who we are.
Uh-huh. All right. You've got some events coming up in WA in June.
Yeah, I
Back for those.
do.
What are you looking forward to? What can the fans expect?
Um, well, I am really looking forward to my hometown show in Bridgetown. And that'll be a duo with my husband, Lucas, who's a multi-instrumentalist. And then, but otherwise, I'm looking forward to the full band show at Lyrics. I mean, all of them will be fun. It's just great to be playing the new stuff.
Have you played here since? When was the last time you played here before this?
Um, I can't remember, but it was. But now I live back there. I did play maybe a month before I left or something like that.
Okay, but it's still. When was the last time you toured the country?
Oh, that was a few years ago. Oh no, it was the beginning of 2023. I did support with
Okay,
Ella Hooper.
okay. Have you got something planned for,
It's
some
coming
festivals
together.
or some stuff? You're putting it together.
Yeah, yeah.
You'll let us know. I'm sure
I
KG
will. Yeah,
KG will
thank
let us
you.
know. I'm sure. Okay, we're going into the novelty area, if that's all right. It just
Yeah.
sort of, if you could perform with any music artist, alive or dead, who would you choose and why? Such a wise music artist as you are, I'm sure you're going to
Oh,
choose something that we're all going to go.
I mean, Aretha Franklin. I'm just the hugest fan
Oh,
of Aretha Franklin.
did
To
you
do
see?
backing vocals with just to like stand next to her.
Did you
Oh,
see? Did you see on the Kennedy Center honors for Carole King? Have you?
yes.
And did you see her perform like
Yeah.
and the respect that they have
I
for her?
know.
I mean,
Yeah.
she's just absolute mega superstar.
Mega
But
superstar.
to
Yeah.
be, when you're that age and you
Yeah.
carry your body and you're carrying that weight, and she just threw
Yeah.
it down like she was just a youngster, and
I
everything
know.
just going boom. That's just one of those things that'll live with you forever. She is. She's
Yeah.
an amazing, amazing person.
She's
Someone,
the queen.
someone to be inspired by, or both.
Yeah.
Actually, Carol King's probably the same, and Janie.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
anyhow, just showing my age now. Um, what piece of advice would you give to an artist starting out?
I would say spend more time honing your craft than on TikTok.
Well, I think social media is the greatest con in the 21st century, let's say, and
Yeah.
they put a few majors up there to make money, and then everyone tries to mirror the majors, and
I
really
know.
any business that doesn't talk to you, you shouldn't be involved with.
Yeah.
Um, what's the best thing about performing to a live audience? That's probably changed over the years.
Just feeling that connection and that your songs are landing with people and you're creating a moment where people are sort of communing essentially,
Yeah.
and I feel like it feels like a rare thing. We do spend so much time online, so just to share a space, the same moment, and to share yeah, to share music and then to hopefully have people leave feeling like they want to take a better version of themselves out into the world or something like that.
And hearing your music sung back to you must be pretty cool. Or
Oh
even
yeah.
even the what's he Live Aid stuff where what's he's out front there and there's the whole crowd's moving like it's
Yeah, 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 yeah.
must be pretty
Yeah,
cool.
beautiful.
Um, a career highlight probably you probably got way too many to even think of. Does one stick out?
Oh my goodness. There are so many from like in such a range of scale. Um, I'd have to say like I did get to perform with Frank Turner at the Olympics, the opening
Really?
ceremony of the Olympics, which was amazing in London in 2012. That was so epic that it felt surreal.
Oh, yeah.
But I actually think it's not that. It's more like I love the moments where you feel where you can really see the power of music. And I've done a bit of mentoring. I did some mentoring up in the Highlands in Scotland to a group of kids who had been through the foster system, and one of them was living in a homeless hostel. And he and I really connected. He was 16, and we wrote this song together and then recorded it. And he was just so elated by having done that. So, and I think those moments are like career highlights because it makes you just go, oh my gosh, this is the power of music.
Well, I think that it's more that in my view, it's more than the power of music. It's like, you've got a light, and when you shine your light on someone and someone picks it up, they can learn how to shine their light. Okay,
Exactly.
here's some stupid stuff to finish us off. What's the craziest thing you've ever done? Don't nothing criminal. I don't want to. I don't want to. You know,
Oh my God. I've had it like this, oh gosh, I don't know.
I slept with 42 people in one bed when I was 19. No, I don't know. Nothing. That's
I
probably
mean,
not even crazy for you.
I went to Brazil, when I was
That's
20.
crazy enough.
Yeah, yeah, and I lived there for 6 years, but 6 years, 6 months, and I went to Carnival up in Salvador, and you follow this flotilla with the band, and if you look at somebody, if you look at a man in a particular, like not even in a particular way, then you end up snogging them, and so, and I think that night I snogged about 12 guys, which I never.
Oh my God. Are we going to pull that out in a 30-second snippet and just put it through social media? That's
Yeah,
great. What's the one topic you can talk about for hours? Everything.
poetry.
Poetry. Cool.
Yeah.
What's the thing you most like about yourself? Your stamina. Obviously, sleeping with 12 guys,
Oh,
you could keep
I
pulling
didn't
people
sleep
out.
with them. I snogged them.
Oh, snogged. Sorry. I don't understand that sort of, I didn't understand the
Pissed,
translation.
pashed them.
Ah,
Not slept. Don't write that down.
no. Snogged.
So, uh, compassion. I like my compassion. It's very deep.
Then we'll have to have a chat at some other stage about that deep stuff, because I'm going to start a podcast on that sort of thing. And I think what's interesting about those things, I think, from a conscious point of view, is you don't really want to turn up because you don't know what people are going to talk about and all that sort of stuff. And then you start talking about stuff and you end up going places you didn't think you'd go to. And at the end of it all,
Yeah.
I had Quan from Regurgitator, and we had 15, 20 minutes booked, and we
Yeah.
went for 90 minutes. And, he's a
Wow.
super conscious guy. He's such a
Yeah.
lovely, lovely guy. He's 52, looks about 30. And
Yeah. Yeah.
so those things I love those sorts of situations. So I'm going to do more of that. All right, we're
Yeah.
going to finish with
Brilliant.
some favorite questions.
Okay.
Favorite album to unwind to?
Oh, I do love Max Richter.
Ah,
Yeah.
favorite artist?
Probably Aretha Franklin.
Aretha. Really, that's really interesting, because
I know. Yeah.
ultimately, I probably think, I'm an old dog now, and I probably think a lot of old stuff, and I hear everything. I across everything that's happening everywhere in the bloody world because I get all the mail on that. But
Yeah.
basically, I go back to the things that I'm connected to, even though I like
Yeah.
modern stuff, but I'm probably
Yeah.
connected to all that stuff
I
myself.
just love her.
She's fantastic. Favorite comfort movie?
Probably the original Star is Born.
With
Barbara Streisand and Chris Christopher. It's my mum's favorite movie. Is
I
that my
don't think
favorite?
that's not the original though. I don't think.
Is it not?
I think the original was with Elizabeth Taylor and James Mason, wasn't it?
Hmm.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'm thinking wrong. Maybe
Oh yeah, no, yeah, you might be right.
Could have been. I thought James Mason was in the original, but I can't be sure.
With the
Favorite,
Barbara Streisand one.
favorite TV series? You know, something that you'd say, you've
Mm,
watched and
Probably. Oh my God, there's so many, aren't
could
there?
be
But
ER, could be something from the past again, or it could be something.
I really love Fleabag was amazing. Fleabag. I'll put Fleabag.
That's Australian, isn't it?
No, British.
British.
Yeah.
Britain does everything. I mean, every great TV series is almost British, just about.
Yeah.
They're so good over there.
So good.
Favorite place to visit?
Um, my hometown.
You lived in Brazil. Where else have you lived? Have you just lived, Australia, Britain, and Brazil, or are there other places you've lived?
Yeah, no, that's it. That's it. Yeah.
Brazil must have been amazing because
It was amazing.
it's like Mexico. There's so much. Mexico's got 20 million people and 20 million guns. It's just
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
just
Oh,
amazing
I can't
place.
believe I did it now. Yeah.
But
I'm just
if you
going
look
to
at music over there and the artists, they're the biggest artists in the world. No
yeah,
one's
yeah.
heard of them, and they've got
Yeah,
100 million
Gilberto
followers.
Gil and
Huge. You know,
yeah, they're amazing.
Sebastian Yatra and all that sort of stuff. He's fantastic.
Yeah.
Favorite venue to play? Oh, go on.
Oh yeah, no, I was just going to say favorite place to visit. I'm just going to put my hometown, Bridgetown. I love going home.
Bridgetown, population 37 and one on the way. How big is
Yeah.
Bridgetown?
No, it's about 3,000 or something.
Well, phew, you almost know everyone by name.
Yeah.
You'd run past them all. Favorite venue to play?
Union Chapel, London.
Really? It's good.
Very special. Yeah. About 1,000-seater. It's wonderful.
Go to green room snack.
Hummus and carrot sticks.
That gets you going. That's enough.
Yeah.
Favorite drink?
Coffee.
Oh, I couldn't do without coffee. Coffee's mine too.
Love it.
Favorite person in history? Now you know me, you can say me. I say that every time I ask that question. So
Oh, good, good.
not very good.
Oh, favorite person in history. I'm going to say Sister Rosetta Tharpe.
And now you have to explain for people that don't know her.
Oh, like phenomenal guitarist and gospel singer who brought gospel music to the popular radio, popular music sphere, and then inspired the rock and roll movement.
Really? What age? What year? What do you?
40s.
Really?
In the 40s. Yeah.
My God, we should know more about her.
Yeah.
Do you have when you were sleeping with? I've got to say it just because I just want to be a shit stirrer. When you were snogging 12 people, did you get a tattoo the same night? Have you got any tattoos?
I've got quite a lot of tattoos, yeah.
Have you? What's your favourite?
My favourite is this little one here that my nephew designed for me, which says
beautiful.
BJBR, Buckley James Barker Rose 2019, and he was 11 at the time, and he designed me this blue wren, and there's lots of blue wrens where we're from in Bridgetown.
That's so good. That's so good. I was just had an interview with Amalia at 4, and she's got one. She's got a semicolon, only one. She's got a semicolon, which was the design from someone dealing with suicide, and the semicolon, from a writing perspective, is like about putting a it's a continuation of a sentence rather than a stop to a sentence. So that started this thing, and she put a musical note at the top of her semicolon.
Oh, beautiful.
Music, so it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's it, Em.
All right.
Now,
great. Thank you so much, Dave.
Seriously, I've got to get you back, but you can check out what we do on that sort of thing, and you can decide not to that we're too deep.
No, that would be great. I'd love to have a longer chat.
But you look to me to be someone that's I bet you meditate.
I do.
That's a given, because basically you carry it in your body. And so in the way you communicate and all that sort of stuff, there's a certain calmness in whatever's taking place. So,
Oh, thank you.
namaste. Thank you very much. Thanks for your time
Namaste.
today. And we'll like
Thanks
I
so
say,
much, Dave.
we'll make sure we put it up as a video so the snogging gets explained as what it is for those people that don't understand the word snog. Thanks, man. It's been a
Thank
pleasure.
you. Thanks, Dave.
All the
Cheers.
best.
Bye. Bye.